Yo, what's up? What it do? This is your brother Jay International. Back at it again. Getting it in as I normally do. Now, I don't like to be, and I don't enjoy being all melancholy. But I must speak to the truth, and I must speak truth to power. And when I make these videos, that is my intention, to speak truth to power. But I must say that this shit is rigged. This shit is rigged for one particular group of people to always be in the position of power, control, and influence, and for the other groups to be subservient to them. And if you are here and if you are aware, then you should already know that group without me stating what group that is. And you should know the groups that they want to keep subservient to them. But I'm speaking for that group that was always meant to be subservient. And us coming and being brought to this country was not for the purpose of us to become influential, to be put in positions of power, to basically be the power brokers in this society. Our position was always to be the workforce, to be the means of production. They brought us here to serve and submit to them. And that was how it was in the beginning, when we were called 3/5 of a human being in the U.S. Constitution. And that's how it is to this moment. Sorry for the background noise, but as you can hear, I'm in the gym. And people like to walk right by you when you, for some reason, have their conversations. But as I was saying, our purpose here was to be that labor force, was to be the means of production, never to attain to positions of power or positions of influence. Now, as white supremacy got more sophisticated, it realized that in order to keep the system going, they had to modify it. You know, they couldn't just do the whip and chain shit anymore, because after a while, people would get fed up with that. So they said, look, we're going to keep this system going. We're going to keep this worldwide system of white supremacy going. We got to modify it. We got to become more sophisticated. So they said, look, we got to allow some token. We have to allow some black people to obtain token positions, in society, because that is the only way in which we will be able to maintain this system. And so, hence the Harvard professor that was just fired or forced to resign. So they made the system more sophisticated. They modified it. They allowed only a percentage of Negroes to attain to the positions of power. And by those few Negroes being given their token positions, they would then go and tell other Negroes, it's possible that you can come here too. Barack Obama, Oprah Winfrey, Thomas Sowell, but that was a part of the plan, to give the illusion that you can reach these heights. But they know, and they always know, that they're only going to allow a certain amount of us to obtain those heights. It is not meant for a substantial amount of us to obtain those heights, because if that happens, then they will slowly but surely start to lose their power and their influence. And that is not something they want to give up. So the shit is rigged, man. The shit is rigged, and it's still rigged. And it don't matter if a few token Negroes get into positions of power, or a few Negroes get to to become famous and entertainers, and that don't account for the masses of over 40 million foundational Black Americans in this country that are still economically, socially, and politically on the bottom. A few token Negroes in high positions does not change the status quo. And we've seen it with these recent events with this Harvard professor. She was made to be known that she's still a nigger. They called her a nigger while she was in that position, just like they called Barack Obama a nigger, even though he was the president of the United States. He was still referred to as a nigger, as a monkey. If you don't believe me, do your research. Here we have this educated, overly qualified Black male, and he's still being referred to as a nigger, as a monkey. So, like I said, man, this shit is rigged. And when you realize that, maybe shit might be less stressful. Maybe, as Neely Fuller Jr. says, and I like to always quote that elder because he's a very wise and intelligent elder. But he said, if you don't understand the system of racism, white supremacy, then everything else will only confuse you. So once you understand this shit is rigged, then you can start to strategize and plot and plan on what we got to do as a people to make sure that we good. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, this is your brother, Jay International, tapping back in once again, getting it in as I normally do. Gotta stay healthy, gotta stay focused, man. With that being said, I'm out. Peace.